Mbappé did them a favor because prior to Mbappé leaving Paris Saint-Germain, a lot of them said that he was calling the shots. I remember an interview from the president of Paris Saint-Germain who was saying, I hope Mbappé will stay now because we have now bought players like he wanted.
Yeah.
So you see, but you don't hear that statement anymore. Players are already making quotes that if I don't run, I won't play. When you hear that from Dembéle, who is currently the world's best player, that is scary.
With the elimination of megastars, are we saying that the coach is the megastar now, where players have to fit into the philosophy of the manager?
Paris Saint-Germain at the moment is the best managed club in the world.
Yeah.
Which is shocking. They have applied what I will call the Teflon effect. When we call the Teflon, Teflon in football is like a surface that something cannot stick to. So that means that Paris Saint-Germain is no longer just a player. They are no longer selling number 10, number 9. No. What they're not selling is the team, is the culture, is Paris. They're selling the brand. They're selling the city. So that means player come, player go, the club stays. Nigerians will say, soldier go, soldier come. You should understand that the Middle East club owners, they own clubs because they are fanatical fans of clubs. So they are passionate about owning the club and they want to participate in it. But this owner of Paris Saint-Germain was able to be convinced by Luis Enrique last year that, listen, we need to offload Mbappé. Let him go. Yeah. People thought they were dead when Mbappé left. But rather, what we are seeing now is that the success of Paris Saint-Germain is now becoming the Achilles heel of Mbappé.
In 2021, Paris Saint-Germain had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappé, the famous MNM, the biggest names in the game, and they still couldn't win the UEFA Champions League. Now it's 2026, and they're in back-to-back finals without a single megastar in the squad. Welcome back to Global Football Insight with Olise. I'm your co-host, Omotoyosi Adebanjo. Sunday, give it to us straight today. Is the era of the Galacticos officially dead? Or has Luis Enrique just figured out how to win without drama?
Well, we are currently privileged because we are living a revolutionary time in football. Paris Saint-Germain is currently revolutionizing football. This is the future of football. Paris Saint-Germain does no longer rely on individual stars. They now created a system whereby the team is the star. There are shared tasks all over the pitch for players, and everybody has a task that they have to achieve for the team.
How important is it for a club or a team to have everybody running, covering grounds, and making sure they help the team in terms of defending and also attacking at the same time?
If you look at the Paris Saint-Germain you are looking at today, I can give you one guarantee. All the superstars that were the stars of the team prior to 2021, they cannot play in this team. They will not survive in this team. Ibrahimovic is an exceptional superstar. Lionel Messi, one of the greatest players ever to play football. Neymar Jr., Mbappé. If those players had to play now, they will not be able to keep up with the rhythm that Paris Saint-Germain plays and the pressing football they play. For example, when Paris Saint-Germain loses the ball, they press you high. They try to force you to play. They keep running. Yeah. But when they are in possession of the ball, they go into a 3-2-5 formation. What is this 3-2-5? They have three central defenders who are staying behind. They have two central midfielders in Vitinha and Neves that cover all the loose ends. And then they have 5 players that are pushing up front and keep on attacking. So you now get a situation whereby you as an opposition, what do? Are you going to take risk and not, even if you pack people in front and behind to stop them from playing, they are still going to play their game. So it is extremely important that every player is functioning. Otherwise, this high press cannot survive. I don't know if you get where I'm going. This is where the system now comes in, because if one player is walking, the system breaks down. If you compare it to the past, where they have the M&M, if 3 players are walking, then they will lose big time. Yeah. So you can now understand why they were in the past not able to dominate Europe as they are doing now.
Yeah. So there's this narrative that Paris Saint-Germain kind of have it a bit easy because they are playing in the Ligue 1. You look at a Premier League side where they cannot have that press 90 minutes because of the number of competitions they have to play. Maybe the league allows Paris Saint-Germain have that room to press 90 minutes and still have that energy or be able to accommodate such a pressing style.
Please take a look at the reserve bench of Paris Saint-Germain. They don't have a large squad and they have young players. Look at the reserve bench of Manchester City. They are all internationals. Over 22, almost 22 internationals in the team. So if the league is demanding, if the Premier League is highly demanding, as we are alluding to now, they already have a bigger squad to manage it. And Paris Saint-Germain itself, these are players that are mostly if they are not homegrown, they are players that were not stars before they came to Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
So you cannot, this excuse that is because the league is not that competitive. Well, you can give that excuse also for the Spanish league, because the Spanish league is not as competitive physically, not technically, we're talking about physically, as the Premier League is, based on the number of games they have to play. But that notwithstanding, the team that has won the Champions League in the world today is Real Madrid, playing in the Spanish league. So you see, it doesn't really fall through. And Toyosi, there is something we should say very quickly now. The Premier League sends in the highest number of candidates in the Champions League every year.
Yeah, they do.
4, 5. So please, that excuse, I'm sorry to disagree with you.
And they are even about to do so too, seeing the number of teams that have gotten to the final this season of the Europa League, Conference League, and the Champions League.
And Toyosi, is it not possible they might have 6?
Yes, it's possible they will have 6.
Thank you, my dear. So what? And they have 20 teams in the league.
Yeah.
So that means almost half of the league is going to the Champions League.
Yeah. So there's this new, or rather modern football of pressing. We're seeing it consistently with these new coaches always hammering on press. It used to not be like that in the past. The previous football, they were not so adamant on always pressing, just defend as a collective. But now the press has become, you're hearing it every time. Meaning, in fact, Dembéle made an example. He said, if you don't press, you probably don't play. Kvaratskhelia said the same thing. If you don't run, press and defend, just know that you'll probably not be in the team in the next game. Everybody has to press. Everybody has to defend, do the dirty work. But how is it important for attackers? You look at players like Kylian Mbappé, who don't always want to do the running, don't always want to do the extra mile over the grounds. How do you explain attackers who, they know how pacey that they are, they know how dangerous they are in terms of attacking? How important is it for attackers pressing all the time and also to be able to conserve energy?
Okay, before I go into breaking this down for you, Toyosi, I don't know if you're aware, at the moment as we speak, there's a signed petition asking Kylian Mbappé to leave Real Madrid. Over 30 million people have signed.
And it's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing, because you're asking yourself, what is the population of Spain? When 30 million people sign that a player has to leave, you start to question yourself, what are they really looking for? Now, the importance of pressing is that when we saw it, when Neymar was playing, Messi was playing, and Mbappe were playing. Now, I don't want their fans to now think that we're trying to bash them or whatever, but it's just the system that has changed. Now, the other players at Paris Saint-Germain, what they did that when they had Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, when they just played and watched, they gave the ball to them and watched. Today, they cannot afford to give them the ball and watch, because the team's philosophy depended on the superstars doing the magic, bringing the results. So they give it to the three of them, and then, but now the playing style is that for them to attack and they play up forward to the players in front, but the other players join to support them and give them passing lines, give them movement so that they can be able to finish. But now what the team is now asking is quite intelligent. What the team is asking is this: if these guys go out of position to help you and give you space and support you in attacking, when we lose the ball, you also join them in defending. So everybody participates. The team is the star here. They have now sacrificed egos, the superstars, and the team is the star. In fact, Mbappe did them a favor, because prior to Mbappe leaving Paris Saint-Germain, a lot of being said that he was calling the shots. In fact, at one point, I remember an interview from the president, from the head of Paris Saint-Germain, who was saying, I hope Mbappe will stay now because we have now bought players like he wanted. We have now gotten this like he wanted. So you see, but you don't hear that statement anymore now at Paris Saint-Germain. You are hearing, like you rightfully and very, very importantly just stated, players are already making quotes that if I don't run, I won't play. When you hear that from Dembéle, who is currently the world's best player, that is scary. That already tells you that the club itself has totally evolved. It is totally a different scenario that you're looking at. And that is why the team now, this is the revolution of football. It is totally revolutionary football because the team that is now going into the Champions League final, they have now qualified consecutively for the back-to-back Champions League final.
Champions League, yeah.
Take position for position, except for the goalkeeper that left for Manchester City. It is practically the same team. That is the scary part. So that means they've carried for almost 24 months the same team and the same manager. So to now explain the pressing aspect even more detailed, just to finish it up a bit, is that why teams are obsessed about pressing is that they want to have control of the narrative. The one who, if I have the ball, you can't score against me.
Yeah.
You can only score if you have the ball. So what Paris Saint-Germain does is that we try to deprive you of the ball. We have more high ball possession. In fact, Paris Saint-Germain averages 70% ball possession. That is what they do. So the idea is that we dominate the possession, but at the same time, we don't let you hurt us. So when we lose the ball, we have to press you. And since we are already playing with 3 defenders, 2 midfielders, and 5 players offensive, we cannot afford to let you to go past the first firewall that we have, which are the 5 strikers. Yeah. The 5 players for front. Because if you go past them, then if you're coming at 6, you're 6 against 5. So what we have to do is that we have to press you and stop you from coming out of that. That is just what it's all about. Keep ball possession and take away the bullets for the opponent to finish you.
So with the elimination of megastars, are we saying that the coach is the megastar now, where players have to fit into the philosophy of the manager?
No, not really. Not really. I think, nice question, Toyosi. I think the question is not a question of the manager being the megastar. The system is the megastar. So that means if this manager leaves and they bring somebody who's playing the same system, it will continue. Now, what Paris Saint-Germain has done, Paris Saint-Germain at the moment is the best managed club in the world.
Yeah.
Which is, they have applied what I will call the Teflon effect. When we call the Teflon in football is like a surface that something cannot stick to. So that means that Paris Saint-Germain is no longer just a player. They are no longer selling number 10, number 9. No. What they're not selling is the team, is the culture, is Paris. So when you go worldwide, when you see them selling jerseys of Paris Saint-Germain, it's not necessarily the players. They're selling the brand. They're selling the city. So that is what they are doing. So that means player come, player go, the club stays. Nigerians will say, soldier go, soldier come. So so that is how it is, and that is what they have done. They have the club has decoupled the club itself from the players. The brand has been decoupled. It's no longer selling this, and that is what is making them this. It's impressive. If you really, I don't want to go into details. It's going to take long. If I give you details of how the club is run, it has never been done before.
And speaking of how the club is run, now how do they improve the squad? Because we hear this saying that it's always difficult to improve a winning squad. How do they improve a winning squad in terms of maybe signing more players to help them in areas where they have loopholes? Do they sign players that they have a specific profile, that without this profile, you cannot fit into the Paris Saint-Germain brand? Or they don't care about that? Just sign the players. The brand will help you reform and refine your.
My dear, what Paris Saint-Germain has done coming to this is forget signing. Now, the salary wage, the load that they are carrying now is just, before it was 60% of the club's running, when they had Neymar, Messi, and Mbappé. Now it is 11%. So what they do is that they are playing with talented players. They are not all about buying players. They are about taking talented players. And if you ask any Frenchman, the place anybody wants to be in France is either Paris or Marseille. Those are the 2 places that players want to play. So that means, and France is a nation with a high pool of footballers, young, talented footballers, mostly players from the African origin.
Yeah.
So if you look at Paris Saint-Germain's team, let me tell you something that is most striking to you. When you saw the last game they played, the semifinals, as they were playing that game, 60 minutes into the game, the best player in the world today was substituted, was taken out. And that is Dembéle. And now, what did they do? They brought in another player. The Bacolas came in and everything. But the system was still on. You did not see a deficit. You did not see the team change because it is running like that. So that is why buying players is not the necessity now. For them to improve, to answer the second part of your question, for them to improve in the future, how can they improve? It's just simple. Each year you set a higher goal. Now we've won. Now we're in the second. Now, even already this season, we're now back-to-back finals.
Yeah.
We have to make sure we win. to be the first French team to win 2 successive Champions League.
Yeah.
You have to keep setting these goals high. And believe me, as far as I'm concerned, they have the best manager in the world at the moment.
How do you explain a side that does not have their players being in the top goal scorer list, at least in the top 5 goal scorer list?
Well, it's because the team is the star. So you see, you just answered it for me. Thank you. The team is the star. So the team is scoring, not because the game is not based around one player alone.
Yeah.
But there is one player who's excelling at the Champions League level,
Kvaratskhelia.
I think he's scored 10 goals, so far, till now. Champions League level. But that notwithstanding, the way they play and the attitude, and you just intelligently stated clearly that even he made the quote that if I don't run, I don't play.
Yeah.
So that means he's not feeling like a superstar in spite of being the one who's scoring the 10 goals. So you see that is why I say this team has been well knitted, well made up, that it is mind-blowing.
Yeah. Everybody willing to do the dirty work, willing to work for everyone and cover for their teammates. Amazing.
And I'm sorry to cut you short because I'm just excited to join in this point you're making. I don't know if you noticed too, towards the end of the game against Bayern Munich, it was like 3 minutes to go. They showed the bench of Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah. They were all waiting.
They were all waiting, all the players together, and they were like, even like giving comment. And I remember this image I had in my head that I felt super. When Kane scored,
Dembéle's face. Yes, he was disappointed. Yeah, I was like, look at this guy. You don't even want them to score at all.
You don't even want them to even score one. And it was even at the last minute.
Even 90+4, it was like, oh my God. It's lovely to see. It's lovely to see how much Enrique has really worked and, made these guys very, very grounded.
So you see, if there's something I'm going to tell you is that for the past almost 8 years, but just before COVID, I was having problems sitting down and watching a team play 90 minutes without leaving the seat, or without checking messages, or without going out and coming back.
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain for the past 2 years. Well, I've been wanting to do this analysis on Paris Saint-Germain since over a year, but we now have the opportunity to do it because they are repeating. We didn't want it will have looked like a flash had we done it last year. Because when you watch Paris Saint-Germain play, there is everything in this team. You see the fingerprints of the manager in the team, the way they move.
Yeah.
But you will see so much individual play. When you see Kara going forward, all I want is something is going to happen. Something's going to happen. Dembéle, something's going to happen. And then one my favorite player, Doué, the French say, il est vraiment doué. Hein? Doué in French means talented. But I don't believe that's the name because his name is a cultural name. But when they say in French, te doué, that means you're talented.
Yeah.
When Doué goes on forward, Jesus Christ, then you know that. This is why the World Cup is coming soon. I'm scared. I'm not. I feel sorry for people who will be playing against France.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they are so stacked. If you remember last year where we watched one of the league phase game in the Champions League, yourself and I, we watched the Paris Saint-Germain Barcelona game. And Barcelona scored first. And you told me, don't worry. You were telling me that, look at you, don't worry. And that particular team on that day was a depleted squad. There was no Dembele, there was no Doué, there was no Kvaratskhelia, but they were still able to come back and win. That's to show you that the identity is there. Whoever is playing or whoever is in the starting lineup, the identity is already there. All you just have to do is slot in and do your.
Yeah, because I wouldn't go into my secrets of how we read the game. One thing is very important. There are certain things you see in a team, and you know that I know. It's like there's a taste you get from my mother's soup, and you know that no. There's a lot of ingredients that have been mixed here at the right time. The salt, the pepper, the oil was allowed to to be very warm before they added tomatoes. All those things. It's inside.
Yeah.
That is what you're seeing with Paris Saint-Germain. When they are playing, one thing you can be guaranteed of is that you see that this one is being worked out. This one is being worked out.
Yeah.
And this is what Paris Saint-Germain has that very few teams in the world have. The way Paris Saint-Germain plays in the first half, be careful, that's not how they're going to play in the second half. The moment they go into that dressing room, when they come out, something changes.
Yeah.
That is why the manager is exceptional. Something changes. And those are the fingerprints of a top manager.
All right, so let's talk about one of your favorite players. Aside from Doué or Kvaratskhelia, there's one particular guy I know you love so much, and that's the Portuguese left back, Nuno Mendes.
Ooh.
This guy coming from Sporting Lisbon, joined Paris Saint-Germain, and since then, he has never looked back in terms of being in the starting lineup. You've called Nuno Mendes severally the X factor especially in the semi-finals against Bayern Munich. How did he neutralize the Bayern threat so clinically? Because coming up against someone like Mikel Olise, where other left backs have had to suffer, like they cannot even recover from having to face somebody like that. But Nuno Mendes have been able to come out tops, even though there were sometimes he lagged behind a bit, but he was able to still recover and come out on top.
My dear, I will tell you one little secret. Mendes is playing this season. He's not 100% fit.
Yeah. In fact, I was worried for him for the second leg. We had that conversation, and yet I saw him in the starting lineup.
He's struggling physically, and it's been the whole season. And this man, the first game I'm seeing Mendes struggle was playing against Mikel Olise, the first leg. But it was okay because I knew beforehand that he's been playing with. He's not been 100% fit. So I knew that's why. Otherwise, in as much as Mikel Olise is one of the best players in the world today, and thank God we have the same name. So in as much, even though
you want them to start asking you questions again now. That is he your lost son?
Killed me with it. Why you let your son go play for France? No, it's not my son. I repeat it again. So when in spite of that, but the second leg, in spite of still being injured, this time he kept Michael quiet.
Yeah.
He kept him quiet. Now, how did he keep quiet? He kept him quiet by making sure that the proposal he was giving to Mikel Olise now was no longer, when you have the ball, I'm no longer going to try to anticipate and take it from you.
Yeah.
I'll be more patient. I will guide you to one particular end. There was only one occasion where Michael caught him off guard. Instead of going to the left, he came inside and used his right.
Yeah.
But except for that, he kept him quiet. And he was also helped by the team. This time around, he had players coming to the left side to double up with him.
Yes.
And that's where Neves and Vitinha, that's where those two players.
Yeah, I noticed Fabian Ruiz was able to come to help him.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also probably one of the reasons why Ruiz was started in that game.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So that's why, you see, these are the little things that I say, if we go into details, we'll sleep here till you see you and I. Because the tactical inputs that you see in this team, the ingredients, it is just, it is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Still on the brand, the big names are gone, obviously. We're seeing that now. Last season, some people might say it's just by luck. They may not be able to repeat it anymore. But we're seeing them repeat it and even repeat it even better. They improved on it from last season. Now, but the brand feels more elite than ever, despite the fact that there are no mega stars. It still seems so elite. A Paris Saint-Germain side previously that you would just snub them off, that they won't get to the final. Now there is this fear that they've been able to strike into so many teams in Europe now. How were they able to pull off this pivot? I'm sure Al-Khelaifi would be one of the proudest man right now as the owner of Paris Saint-Germain.
And he's, to yourself, you just called his name, but there is something that is happening that I find rather different from the past years. In the past, every time you put on the television, it was Al-Khelaifi giving the interviews.
Yeah, true.
He was the one that was always like the face of the team. But now, the professionals are giving the interviews. Enrique is talking more.
Yeah.
Dembéle is talking more. Yeah. And that you can see that the team is now, he's now letting the team do his thing. And I think it's one important thing that is one has to note for. Yeah. You should understand that the Middle East club owners, they own clubs because they are fanatical fans of clubs. Yeah. They love the game. So they want to own their own club. So they are passionate about owning the club and they want to participate in it. And that's why they spend what they have to because they want to succeed. Yeah. And that's why they were buying players and buying that. But this manager, this owner of Paris Saint-Germain was able to be convinced by Luis Enrique last year that, listen, we need to offload Mbappé. Let him go. We need to let them go, and then we will find other solutions. Yeah. People thought they were dead when Mbappé left. People thought they would struggle now. Messi is no longer there. Mbappé finally the third one has left. But rather, what we are seeing now is that the success of Paris Saint-Germain is now becoming the Achilles heel of Mbappé.
Yeah.
Who 3 years ago was touted as the greatest player, the best player in the world. But he's now struggling because part of what the Real Madrid fans, and I know you're one of them, I don't want to call your name, what they've been saying is that it was at Paris Saint-Germain, they didn't win Champions League. The year he left them, they won it. And now they're already going to the finals again without him. Whereas we that used to win before he came, we're no longer winning. We're no longer even as competitive as we used to be, So that is I'm not blaming the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming the guy.
Of course not. It can't be his fault, yeah?
No. He scored almost 80 goals for Real Madrid ever since going to Real Madrid. So anybody trying to criticize Mbappé has been the sole reason why Real Madrid is not functioning. Then they are just being delusional. Yeah. That's not the case. So So that's the point I'm making. The team itself is totally different to yours.
Budapest. Paris Saint-Germain have been able to book a date with Budapest, and so has Arsenal as well. Now it's Arteta versus Enrique. We have two different styles, very miles apart styles here, where you have the attacking style, the total football, and then the man who invented he didn't invent it, but probably perfected the defensive block. Now you have, and these two sides have met before, especially
and the free kick specialist.
yeah. Yeah, the set piece specialist. Now, can this system of Luis Enrique break the best defensive block in Europe?
Well, you must give kudos to Arteta, for getting this team to the final.
Yeah.
But a lot of argument is going like they had the weakest group to get to the final.
Yeah, the weakest side.
The weakest side of the. So okay, that's what a lot of people are. But Arsenal fans will beg to disagree. Whether you like it or
they
not.
have every right to do so because other teams fell out of the way. Yeah.
Other teams fell out of the way, and they could only play opponents you put at them.
Exactly.
So it's not their fault.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, this has been the most difficult draw of that Paris Saint-Germain has gone through to get to the final. And they are two different, like you rightfully said, they are two different. They play the different philosophies. Now, but for this final, one thing is very certain: if the tempo of the game is low, Arsenal win. If Paris Saint-Germain raises the tempo of the game, the RPM of the game high, you are seeing a defending champion lift the title again.
Okay.
That is what is going to happen. Because if the tempo is slow and Arsenal is able to break the game down and stop Paris Saint-Germain from doing what they can do, then Arsenal have a chance of winning it. But this game, this final, say what you may, the result does not depend on Arsenal. The result depends on what Paris Saint-Germain does. Should Paris Saint-Germain, in my opinion, play at 100% what they can do, they won't win it. They won't win the trophy. Because if you look at Arteta's playing style revolves around straight solidity.
Yeah.
It is not very flexible. It's very rigid.
Yeah.
But that rigidity has a lot of advantages. They are being crowned for the first time in 22 years as the champions of England, of the Premier League. After that, and at the same time, they are in the finals of the Champions League. So he is doing something right. So nobody dares to criticize him for that one. At the end of the day, they say you are as good as the results you bring. That's what is happening here. But that notwithstanding, they are now coming against, in my opinion, the best team in the world. The best team in the world in all departments, be it defensively, offensively. And if you look at it, statistics here, Toyosi, there is one danger here. Paris Saint-Germain concedes an average of 1.4 goals, 1.5 goals every game. That is, so defensively they're a bit weak, but offensively they are extremely creative.
Dangerous. Yeah.
They're dangerous, But they are coming against the team that has one of the best defenses so far.
Yeah.
Does not concede. They don't concede too easily. And Arsenal are very good at set pieces. So you see, both teams kind of like are antidotes to one another. But the question is, which of them now will not be able to put that? Thank God we have 3 weeks to prepare ourselves. So that we can just get ourselves ready and see what happens.
Yeah. Before we conclude on this one, Arsenal have gotten to the final unbeaten. For them now, they are unbeaten, while Paris Saint-Germain are not. Does this make Arsenal favourites in this final over Paris Saint-Germain based off of their record since the league phase of the Champions League now to the knockout phase?
If you look at the statistics, the way it's gone, Arsenal should lift the trophy. They're favourites. This is a team that's considered the least among the two teams coming head-to-head in the final. And at the same time, also, they've been more composed defensively.
Yeah, they've not lost.
They've not lost one game. So it is looking as if they should win it. But last year, Inter Milan were also very solid.
Yeah.
Leading up to the final.
That final was an atrocity.
Jesus Christ. It was a demonstration. And
it was a whooping.
I felt sorry for the Italian fans when I saw them watching the game. They were like, are we dreaming? Is this a nightmare?
Honestly.
Please wake me up. This can be true. And
I think the first half was 3-0. And we were all like, because I was having a watch party at that time. I was like, what the hell is going on? I can't believe this is the Champions League final I'm watching.
I will never forget a tweet that came up and said, has the match started or is this a warm-up?
Oh my
goodness. When
goodness.
it was 3-0, said, has the match started or are we just watching?
Facts. It was something else. And then just like you rightly said about them coming back in the second half. In the second half, they just continue for where they stopped. If not for missed chances, it could have probably been
Seven.
they could have easily spelled Inter Milan on that night.
Ooh, now you're being wicked.
No, it was a one-sided game. It was a one-sided whooping.
That would have been 10-0 now, Inter Milan.
I'm telling you. Wow.
But that's it's a team. For me, it's a team that when you watch them play,
Yeah.
as a fan, as a supporter, you love watching. As a neutralist that we are. Well, I'm gradually no longer being a neutralist because I've been for the past 2 years now. It's been a team that
You can't help yourself. You see beautiful football. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the team I've been following for the past 1 year and I watch, In fact, I watch more the League 1 now, thanks to Paris Saint-Germain than I used to do in the past. So, and it's because of that I'm seeing what is happening at Lyon now, because I watched them when they played Lyon, and then Lyon, did one over them. So if you love football, you must love the way this team plays.
Yeah.
And one thing that is refreshing to us here, that I have to share before we go, is that when you watch them play, it is never boring. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. You see creativity, you see some dribbling, you see moves, you see the passing game. They are passing. Why I am insisting that the revolutionary football is that ever since Guardiola broke off and people started imitating Guardiola's playing style, the passing football has gotten to a level whereby, I think we spoke about it on this platform earlier. Yeah. That everybody's now passing. It's boring. They can pass you to sleep and then you fall asleep. But a lot of teams have decided to imitate that. Why? Because the Guardiola and the record and the successes he's had pointed to the fact that if you play this way, you win things. Yeah. But now, Paris Saint-Germain, they are not afraid that if you press them high, they play long balls. They don't, if you press them high and they see that we're difficult, they give the goalkeeper, like if you saw them against Bayern Munich, they didn't take risks, but the goalkeeper, he gave a long one forward. And let's not forget, before we go to Yossi, the goalkeeper of Paris Saint-Germain, oh my God. When they lost Donnarumma, I thought they were
honestly,
this guy is unbelievable.
He's just quietly doing his job.
But what a way. The way, and he's imposing, and the saves he makes. Yeah. And for a tall man, the way he's quick to go down. Yeah. It's unbelievable. So you see, they really know what they're doing. They let go Donnarumma because they had something, a better variety coming in, younger. You know? And so it's beautiful to watch. Yeah. So your final words here, the machine versus the wall. Just give it to us straight. This term is nice. The machine versus the wall. No, the system versus the block. So you say. And if you're looking at this, the formation that I'm looking at here, my own take is that this final is going to be very, very unpredictable in the sense that we don't know the spectacle we're going to have. But one thing you can be sure of is that Paris Saint-Germain is going to come to win it. Paris Saint-Germain is not going to come there trying to play to hold back and force the opposition out. No. They will want to take control and win it themselves. And that is what we're going to show. And for that thing, and this is an opportunity for Arsenal now to go into the history. And really, if should Arteta be able to leave this title, every manager that has come before him at Arsenal will fall into back. Yeah. He will go ahead of them. Yeah. And then Arsenal fans will now be able to banter like hell all over Nigeria. I'm telling you. All over Europe, all over Asia. Chelsea fans are in trouble. Now Arsenal will not tell them that you've always been teasing us, we'll never won Champions League. So for the fans also now, for Arsenal fans, this is a do or die. Don't be surprised. Arsenal fans will tell you now that they prefer to lose that Premier League than lose the Champions League. Because they will tell you, we've never won Champions League before. But, and also that way, Chelsea fans will stop teasing us. So my take is that we are in for a roller coaster on the 30th of May, when this Champions League final comes up. Can we rule out the possibility that this final can be boring? Yes, I think we can rule out the possibility this final will be boring because of three words: Paris Saint-Germain. But Arsenal know how to just make an exciting game just look like a downer. They don't care who is coming to party to come play. They just want to impose their own style to make sure it suits them. Now, this is where I'm going to attack you now. Why would Arsenal want to do that? Why would they want to do that? Well, it has been working for them. That's what helped them so far to win. We don't have to be exciting to win. Nobody like you rightly told me, that nobody remembers how you won, or nobody remembered, so they don't care. As long as it's rough and maybe a smash and grab kind of game, 1-0, we're good to go. And I'm happy I let you answer this one, because you said they don't care. It's been working for them. So in other words, Paris Saint-Germain don't care. The way they've been playing has been working for them. So they also have to continue. So why would they want to change?
So
So
this
that is
clash
why
now will break.
I think, but the interesting part is that one thing we are sure of: these are the two best teams of the Champions
Yeah.
League this year.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right. Awesome. And just like you said you don't want to give us a call now who would win or who would not win. But that's fine. Me, I already
I
have
will
my
tell you
winner.
later. I will tell you later when we hang up.
Awesome. Thank you very much for, of course, always laying it bare and giving your expert analysis. And thank you very much, guys, for watching this particular episode. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.